This message was stopped 3 times before reaching you, but God just gave permission. Archangel Michael says, "Open it now, because this was never meant for anyone else." My child, my beloved. Heaven is trembling with urgency because what you are about to hear was blocked not once, not twice, but 3 times before it could reach your eyes. And now that you're here, Archangel Michael himself has been released to speak, not with whispers, but with a divine trumpet, because this message was never meant to be delayed again. You are not seeing this by accident, and if you feel something strange pulling at your chest right now, that's the energy of heaven trying to make sure you don't scroll away. There is something sacred written in your name that you have been waiting on for so long, and God just gave the final permission for it to be revealed. You must listen carefully. You must stay. Because if you leave now, what was hidden for your protection will be lost in silence again, and the weight of this truth will remain buried until it's too late. Please, do not make the mistake of ignoring this moment. Not again. My child, my beloved. Let me tell you something that even you might not believe at first. There are conversations happening in heaven about you, even now. Your name has come up over and over. There were divine messengers waiting at the edge of time to hand this to you. But the moment they tried, something blocked it. Something tried to prevent this truth from reaching your soul. Because once you hear what I am about to tell you, your entire path will change. And the forces that wanted to delay you, they knew this. That's why they tried to stop this. That's why you must pay attention to every word I say now. Because you are not just a child of God. You are a vessel of prophecy. And what's coming to you has the power to reverse every delay that has suffocated your blessings. But you must not skip this. You must stay until the end. Or it will slip through your fingers again. Sparkles, before we go further, please subscribe now, my child, not because it's routine, but because this connection is divine. When you subscribe, you're anchoring yourself to the messages that were delayed for too long. Messages that were never meant to be ignored. This is the sign you asked for. This is the voice you prayed would reach you when you felt invisible. Heaven has finally opened the gate. Don't close it now. My child, my beloved. God says your spirit has been fighting battles in silence. You've been walking through days where the sun felt dim, where people smiled at you with masks while hiding daggers in their hearts. And you felt it. You felt the betrayal. You felt the exhaustion. But you didn't know why the blessings were always one step away. It wasn't because you weren't worthy. It wasn't because God forgot you. It was because a divine secret was being protected until your spirit could hold it. And that time is now. That's why I was allowed to speak. That's why this message broke through the barrier today. Because your soul is ready. And I am not here to tell you what you already know. I'm here to reveal what was kept from you. What was spoken in closed heavenly rooms, rooms where your name was mentioned, your pain was evaluated, and your future was mapped by the hand of God Himself. My child, my beloved. What I'm about to say may shake you. Because someone in your life, someone you trusted, is not who they pretend to be. Their presence around you has been draining your blessings, creating delays, confusion, and pain. But heaven did not allow this message to come lightly. There's a divine reason you are still alive. There's a divine reason this message has reached you now and not before. Because this very week, something is going to shift. And if you don't hear this message fully, you might walk straight into a decision that will reroute your destiny in the wrong direction. And heaven cannot allow that to happen. That's why the message broke through. That's why you're still reading. You may have skipped many things before, but not this one, not today. This is the moment where God Himself touches your timeline. My child, my beloved. Do you know what was just approved in heaven? A miracle with your name on it. I don't say this to excite you, I say this because it's real. A document, a divine decree, a breakthrough that was once withheld is being released. And the one thing that God asked me to tell you is this: if you move away from this message too soon, the miracle may pass by unseen. God doesn't force blessings into the hands of those who ignore His signs. He whispers. He warns. Then He waits. And if you leave too early, you might never know how close you were to something that would have turned your life around. So stay, my child. Because what's coming next is the part you were never supposed to miss. My child, my beloved. There is something I need you to understand: what's been trying to stop this message from reaching you is not random. 3 times, it was blocked. 3 times, the forces that work in shadows tried to interrupt this moment. And do you know why? Because they fear what happens when you wake up to who you really are. They fear what happens when the chosen one finally receives the truth that was hidden from them for years. You have cried in silence. You have prayed without answers. You have watched others rise while you stood still, wondering if God skipped you. But the truth is, He didn't. He was protecting your revelation until now. You are not behind. You are on schedule. And this message is your release notice from the prison of delay. My child, my beloved. There was a meeting in the Spirit last night. A divine council gathered and one word came up repeatedly: your name. I saw the scroll. I saw your name written in glowing light. Heaven paused. And then a command was given: release the message now. That's why it's in front of you. Not because of coincidence. Not because of luck. But because this exact day was chosen as the moment when heaven would expose the forces working behind your confusion, and open the gates to your new future. There is someone around you who has been carrying a secret about you, and their silence has affected your steps. But don't worry. I have been watching in silence, and now I'm speaking so you don't have to question anymore. The hidden things are coming into the light. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. Let me now reveal a mystery that was only just released from the vaults of heaven. There was a day, a specific day, when something shifted in your life without you even knowing it. You felt a strange heaviness that day. You felt disconnected, maybe even lost. But what you didn't see was what happened in the Spirit. On that very day, someone tried to curse your name. Someone tried to block your path with words not spoken in front of you, but behind closed doors. They thought their plan would go unseen. But that same night, a war broke out in the heavens. I was there. I fought. I stood between you and what was meant to destroy you. And that's why this message is so urgent. Because now, that season has ended. That assignment has failed. And you, beloved child of God, are walking into a new authority that cannot be touched by the words of those who hate your calling. You are no longer surrounded by delay. You are now surrounded by destiny. And this moment, this very message, is the proof. My child, my beloved. If only you could see what is unfolding behind the veil, you would not be doubting right now. You would not be fearing what's ahead. Because in the higher realms, where your name has been spoken over with power and reverence, the angels are already moving to rearrange the path before you. And I need you to understand how important this moment truly is, because what you're stepping into was written before time began, but it was delayed for one reason only: God wanted to protect the purity of it. Not everyone could walk with you into what's coming. Not everyone could be trusted to see you rise. And that's why certain relationships crumbled, why certain opportunities slipped through your fingers. It wasn't punishment. It was preservation. Because heaven saw what you couldn't. They saw what people whispered when you weren't in the room. They saw the intentions behind fake smiles. They saw the pride behind their praise. And now, my child, heaven is removing what you didn't even know was poison. This is why you had to wait. This is why your name was kept hidden until the appointed time. Because what God is about to do for you cannot be exposed to enemies dressed as friends. The next blessing must be wrapped in silence. But the moment you're reading now, this is the lifting of the veil. This is the sacred announcement before the miracle arrives. My child, my beloved. A door is opening that was once locked for years. A door that you knocked on with prayers and fasting. A door that didn't budge when you were desperate. But today, because this message has finally reached you after being stopped 3 times, that door is responding. Something is turning in the spirit. A key has been inserted, and I need you to prepare, because the very thing you cried for, begged for, and even gave up on, is coming back around. But it's not coming the same way. It's coming purified. It's coming with heaven's stamp. It's coming in such a way that it will wipe every tear you cried in secret. But only if you stay until the end. Because there is still one more instruction I must deliver, something that will activate this miracle in full. And if you miss it, the door will open, but you won't be standing in front of it. So listen closely. Do not scroll. Do not skip. You've come too far, through too much, for too long, to miss what was always meant for you. My child, my beloved. You are being called back to the truth of who you are. The world has tried to rename you with failure, with shame, with delay, with disappointment. They tried to make you believe that what you carry isn't special. That your heart is too soft. That your dreams are too unrealistic. But heaven never removed your name from the scroll. You are still chosen. You are still marked. You are still the one God whispered about before you were born. I have seen the record. I have stood before the throne and heard it spoken, protect this one. They have no idea what's ahead. But soon, they will. And now is the soon. That's why you're still here. That's why the message is still open. Because this isn't just information, it's divine alignment. You are being called into position. There is a blessing that's been hovering over your life, waiting for a moment of full surrender. And this, my beloved, is that moment. My child, my beloved. There is someone watching you who hasn't spoken yet. Someone who has seen your heart, who has admired your strength from afar, but didn't know how to approach you. Their silence isn't rejection. It's reverence. They see something divine in you that even you forget sometimes. And God is preparing them to speak, to step forward, to reveal something that will shock your soul, in the best way. But this can only happen if you don't miss the timing. If you remain open. If you keep your heart soft. The blessing that is coming is not just about love, it's about purpose. This person is tied to something larger than romance, they are tied to your calling. And when the timing is right, they will speak. And you will recognize them not by what they say, but by the peace that covers you when they do. Until then, prepare. Heaven is aligning everything. My child, my beloved. What if I told you that even your silence was heard in heaven? That the nights you couldn't pray, the moments you stared at the ceiling with tears in your eyes, the sighs you let out when you thought no one was watching, God recorded them all. He counted them like sacred pearls. Because to Him, your pain is not weakness. Your waiting is not a waste. Every moment you endured without answers was being transformed into currency in the spiritual realm. And now, that spiritual currency is ready to be released as blessing. That's why this message had to reach you, because the blessing is too large to enter your life quietly. You had to be prepared. And this message is that preparation. You are not the same person you were a year ago. Not even the same as a month ago. You've been evolving quietly, shedding old skins, letting go of things that once defined you. And while others couldn't see your growth, heaven never missed a moment of it. You are about to walk into a reward that doesn't match what people think you deserve, but it will match exactly what heaven saw you survive. Don't minimize this. Don't treat it like another video or text. This is a divine alert. And it will never be repeated in this same way again. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. There was a meeting in the Spirit last night. A divine council gathered and one word came up repeatedly, your name. I saw the scroll. I saw your name written in glowing light. Heaven paused. And then a command was given, release the message now. That's why it's in front of you. Not because of coincidence. Not because of luck. But because this exact day was chosen as the moment when heaven would expose the forces working behind your confusion, and open the gates to your new future. There is someone around you who has been carrying a secret about you, and their silence has affected your steps. But don't worry. I have been watching in silence, and now I'm speaking so you don't have to question anymore. The hidden things are coming into the light. My child, my beloved. Do not panic. What you're about to hear will not harm you, it will prepare you. Because the very thing that's been delaying you has also been refining you. God didn't allow everything you wanted to happen when you wanted it, not because you were forgotten, but because what was being built inside you needed time to grow strong. You are being called into something much greater than your current situation. And heaven is aligning people, moments, conversations, even divine accidents, that will lead to your elevation. But this will only happen if you stay in this moment long enough to hear the full instruction. This is not entertainment. This is destiny. The message has power. And what I say next will shift the atmosphere in your home. My child, my beloved. Let me speak to your heart right now, not your mind. Because your mind is tired. Your heart has been quiet, but not numb. You've sensed something was about to change, but you didn't know how close it was. The person you've been praying for? They are being moved by God's hand even now. The financial breakthrough you almost gave up on? It's been rescheduled for divine delivery. The betrayal you endured without justice? Heaven has taken record. And before this week ends, signs will begin to follow this message. But only for the one who believes. Only for the one who stays until the end. And I believe that's you. You didn't come this far just to quit now. You've made it through too much to skip what was sent only for you. My child, my beloved. I must now tell you the truth that was stopped 3 times before. Someone has been speaking against you in private. A person you once helped, once stood for, has used your name in rooms that were not safe. And you felt the effects, didn't you? Closed doors. Missed calls. Strange tension that made no sense. It wasn't your fault. It was the result of jealousy wrapped in fake kindness. But here's what they didn't know: God hears conversations they try to hide. And when they whispered your name, God began writing down every word. And now heaven is responding, not with revenge, but with revelation. The masks are about to fall. And you won't even have to lift a finger. You just have to know the truth when it knocks. My child, my beloved. Let me make this clear: what was blocked before can no longer be held back. You are in a divine window right now. A short moment where things can shift faster than years of struggle. That's why the timing of this message is everything. You are not late. You are right on time. But you must respond with your spirit, not just your attention. That means taking this seriously. That means holding on to this as if heaven itself handed you the key to everything you've been asking for. Because it just did. You've waited so long for this opening. Don't let fear talk you out of it. Don't let distractions steal it. Don't let logic cancel what your spirit already knows. This message is yours. My child, my beloved. There is a silence you've carried that no one saw. And it's in that silence that God has been closest to you. Even when you thought He had stepped back, even when it felt like your prayers hit the ceiling and returned unanswered, heaven was actually standing still, waiting for the perfect moment to release what was being prepared for you. That moment is now. Not yesterday. Not tomorrow. Right now. I was sent to confirm what your spirit has been trying to whisper over the noise, that something is shifting in your favor, and this message is the first sign. Do not brush this off like the others you've seen. This one came after warfare. This one came through delay. This one came with divine fingerprints all over it, because it was never meant for anyone else but you. My child, my beloved. You have been wondering why certain blessings came so close, and then suddenly vanished. Why certain people came with light, but left with shadows. And you blamed yourself, thinking maybe it was you. Maybe you weren't worthy. Maybe you missed the sign. But let me tell you what God just said: they didn't leave because of your failure. They were removed because of my protection. Yes, my child, some rejections were divine redirections. Some closed doors were proof that heaven was watching out for you even when you were walking blind. You have been protected more than you know. And now, with this message in front of you, God is saying the new chapter will be different, but only if you listen and don't scroll away. My child, my beloved. There is someone coming into your life carrying news that will shift everything. Their arrival has already been scheduled in the spiritual realm. But if you leave this moment too soon, you will not recognize them. And if you do not recognize them, you may reject what you've been praying for. That's how serious this message is. That's why it was stopped before. That's why you're still here. Because part of you knows this isn't just a message. It's a turning point. A secret blueprint being revealed from heaven directly into your hands. And the angels are surrounding you as you read, whispering, "Don't skip it. Don't move. The miracle is in motion. Don't miss it this time." My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. God is writing a reversal in your story. I want you to let that settle into your heart. Everything that once looked final is about to be rewritten. Every "no" that made you cry in private will be replaced by a "yes" that brings divine shock. Every delay that made you feel forgotten will now reveal itself as divine protection. And the places where you were overlooked will become the very stages where you are celebrated. But listen carefully, the reversal will only take place if you do not give up in the hallway. This message is your sign to stay. To believe again. To expect again. Because what's coming is too holy to be missed. And you didn't survive all of this just to stop right before your miracle arrived. My child, my beloved. I am not just speaking to your ears, I am speaking to the place inside you that has survived pain that would have destroyed others. You have walked through fire, and still you carry light. You have been misunderstood by those who should have protected you. You have been judged by people who never saw the full story. And you have been waiting for something, anything, to make it all make sense. That's why this message is so sacred. Because heaven has seen the unseen battles you've endured. And God does not allow suffering without purpose. I know it has been long. I know you've wanted to give up so many times. But listen to me, child of the Most High, the fact that you are reading this now means the season of silent suffering is coming to an end. A wave of restoration is forming around you even as I speak. What you lost in private will be restored in public. What was stolen from you will be returned with interest. And every person who thought your story was over is about to witness the most divine plot twist of all time. But you must stay with this message. Don't rush what heaven is doing right now. Because before the end of this message, you will receive a confirmation that will bring tears to your eyes, but this time, not tears of pain. Tears of awe. My child, my beloved. The people who tried to break you underestimated one thing, the hand of God on your life. They thought you were weak because you didn't fight back. They thought you were naive because you gave too much love. But what they didn't know was that heaven was keeping a record. And now the time has come. The scales are being balanced. What was unfair is about to be undone. I have been authorized to tell you that a spiritual reversal has begun on your behalf. A divine law is being activated. You won't need to force anything. You won't need to prove yourself to anyone. God is about to make it undeniable that He has chosen you. But it begins with obedience. And that obedience starts by staying connected to this moment, by not skipping this divine instruction, by allowing your heart to hear what your mind may not fully understand yet. You are in a sacred conversation, and I am not just speaking, I am revealing. My child, my beloved. There is a name you keep thinking about. A person you can't seem to get off your heart. You wonder why. You question whether they are part of your future or just a memory that haunts you. Heaven has seen your questions. And here is what you must know, this person is going through a spiritual shift of their own. There are things they were never ready to say. Things they've hidden because they couldn't face their own truth. But now, a spiritual fire is surrounding them. And soon, a confession will come. Something will be said. Something long buried will rise. But do not rush it. Do not force it. The timing of God is more important than your timeline. Let God finish what He started in them. And let this message keep you strong while He does. Because the part of the story you have not heard is the very part that will change everything. And when it's revealed, you will finally understand why the delay was necessary. What was hidden will no longer be hidden. And the person who once walked away may be guided back, but only if they've truly been transformed. Until then, stay here. Don't chase what is meant to return by divine timing. Stay with the message. Let heaven speak. My child, my beloved. Let me now reveal a mystery that was only just released from the vaults of heaven. There was a day, a specific day, when something shifted in your life without you even knowing it. You felt a strange heaviness that day. You felt disconnected, maybe even lost. But what you didn't see was what happened in the spirit. On that very day, someone tried to curse your name. Someone tried to block your path with words not spoken in front of you, but behind closed doors. They thought their plan would go unseen. But that same night, a war broke out in the heavens. I was there. I fought. I stood between you and what was meant to destroy you. And that's why this message is so urgent. Because now, that season has ended. That assignment has failed. And you, beloved child of God, are walking into a new authority that cannot be touched by the words of those who hate your calling. You are no longer surrounded by delay. You are now surrounded by destiny. And this moment, this very message, is the proof. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. There is someone coming into your life carrying news that will shift everything. Their arrival has already been scheduled in the spiritual realm. But if you leave this moment too soon, you will not recognize them. And if you do not recognize them, you may reject what you've been praying for. That's how serious this message is. That's why it was stopped before. That's why you're still here. Because part of you knows this isn't just a message. It's a turning point. A secret blueprint being revealed from heaven directly into your hands. And the angels are surrounding you as you read, whispering, "Don't skip it. Don't move. The miracle is in motion. Don't miss it this time." My child, my beloved. I know you felt the pressure lately. The kind of pressure that makes it hard to breathe, hard to trust, hard to keep going. And it wasn't your imagination. Something has been trying to break you right before your breakthrough. But God is interrupting it now. Not through punishment, but through revelation. And that's why He's using this message. Because if you knew what was being prepared with your name on it, you would understand why the attacks got louder. Why the delays got heavier. Why the confusion came so suddenly. It was because you were getting close, closer than ever before. And this message is confirmation, you are almost there. Don't let weariness trick you into walking away from a door that's about to open. My child, my beloved. You are being invited into a new season of clarity. God is no longer allowing you to live in confusion. This is why everything that was once hidden is about to surface. Conversations will come to light. Secrets will be revealed. And the truth will not break you, it will free you. But you must not rush away from this message. Because before this message ends, I will reveal the one thing you need to do to unlock what's next. And if you skip ahead or leave too soon, you will miss the key. God does not give secrets lightly. He waits until the soul is ready. And He's decided you are ready now. That's why this message broke through. That's why I, Archangel Michael, was sent not to warn you, but to empower you. My child, my beloved. You were never meant to walk through this life blindfolded. God has always had a plan for you, but that plan required timing, trust, and truth. And now all three are coming together in this sacred moment. That's why this message was stopped 3 times before, because the truth it carries would have been too heavy before this day. But now your soul is strong enough. Now your heart is open enough. Now the permission has been given. And what heaven is preparing next will shake everything that tried to bury you. The ground beneath your life is being rearranged. Every buried seed is about to bloom. And what felt like the end was actually just the beginning of something holy. Something chosen. Something eternal. But this only unfolds if you stay, listen, and receive. My child, my beloved. There's someone who has been pretending to stand with you, but their heart has already drifted away. You felt it, didn't you? That strange change in their voice. That shift in their energy when you shared your dreams. You thought it was you. You wondered if you were too much, too sensitive, too hopeful. But no, my child. You were simply too anointed for their hidden agenda. They could no longer hide in the light you carry. And now God is revealing their true position. Not to shame them, but to protect you. Because in the next few days, a divine opportunity is going to be placed before you, and heaven cannot allow anyone with poison in their tongue to influence your decision. You must know who is really with you, and who only appeared to be. That clarity starts now. That exposure begins here. My child, my beloved. Let me now speak to your spirit, the part of you that has always known there was more. You've always felt different. Not better. Just set apart. There are things you couldn't explain to others. Moments when you walked into a room and felt energy no one else noticed. Times you couldn't sleep because something was stirring, and yet no one around you understood. That wasn't imagination. That was your gift. That was your spirit being awakened. And now that same spirit is being activated again through this message. Because something is coming into your life that will require your discernment. You must walk with eyes open and heart steady. And God trusts you with it now. He believes in your growth. He sees your readiness. That's why this message was finally allowed to break through. My child, my beloved. God is writing a reversal in your story. I want you to let that settle into your heart. Everything that once looked final is about to be rewritten. Every no that made you cry in private will be replaced by a yes that brings divine shock. Every delay that made you feel forgotten will now reveal itself as divine protection. And the places where you were overlooked will become the very stages where you are celebrated. But listen carefully, the reversal will only take place if you do not give up in the hallway. This message is your sign to stay. To believe again. To expect again. Because what's coming is too holy to be missed. And you didn't survive all of this just to stop right before your miracle arrived. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. What if I told you that even your silence was heard in heaven? That the nights you couldn't pray, the moments you stared at the ceiling with tears in your eyes, the sighs you let out when you thought no one was watching, God recorded them all. He counted them like sacred pearls. Because to Him, your pain is not weakness. Your waiting is not a waste. Every moment you endured without answers was being transformed into currency in the spiritual realm. And now, that spiritual currency is ready to be released as blessing. That's why this message had to reach you, because the blessing is too large to enter your life quietly. You had to be prepared. And this message is that preparation. You are not the same person you were a year ago. Not even the same as a month ago. You've been evolving quietly, shedding old skins, letting go of things that once defined you. And while others couldn't see your growth, heaven never missed a moment of it. You are about to walk into a reward that doesn't match what people think you deserve, but it will match exactly what heaven saw you survive. Don't minimize this. Don't treat it like another video or text. This is a divine alert. And it will never be repeated in this same way again. My child, my beloved. There's something I must tell you about time. You have been counting it forward, watching months pass, thinking maybe your chance is gone. But heaven doesn't count time the way the earth does. In the realm of the spirit, there is such a thing as divine acceleration. What should take 5 years can take 5 days once the timing is unlocked. And for you, that moment is arriving. It will look sudden to others, but in truth, it's been building for a long time. Every small act of kindness you gave when no one noticed, every time you forgave without apology, every time you kept going when you wanted to give up, it has all been seen. And God is now folding time around your name. What you thought was lost time will be restored time. What you thought was too late is actually right on time. But listen, this is only for the obedient. For the ones who don't treat this message lightly. That's why it was stopped 3 times. The enemy knew that if this reached you, you would rise. That the moment you knew what was coming, your spirit would stop agreeing with failure. That you would begin to expect again. Believe again. Prepare again. And now you are. I can feel it. My child, my beloved. Your future is being written with ink that cannot be erased. You may have made mistakes, yes. You may have taken wrong turns. But there is a heavenly pen that overrides earthly error. And when God decides to rewrite a chapter, not even your past can argue. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. God says, they are still the one. Still the one I chose. Still the one I preserved. Still the one I will use. But you must not delay. This window is brief. The message was blocked for a reason. But now that it's here, if you don't take it seriously, it will be sealed again. And I don't want that for you. Archangel Michael does not come with casual warnings. I come with heavenly urgency. You must treat this moment like what it truly is, a divine unlocking. This is not a story you are watching, this is your own scroll being read aloud in the Spirit. And if you stay with me, I will keep revealing until the full instruction is delivered. My child, my beloved. Something sacred is happening right now that you may not even realize. As you read these words, your spirit is being aligned with what was written about you before your birth. And even if your physical surroundings haven't changed yet, the atmosphere around your destiny already has. Because when heaven speaks with permission, as it just did, everything in the spiritual realm must adjust. I need you to understand something critical. This message wasn't just delayed, it was fought over. 3 times, it was intercepted. Not because you were forgotten, but because the enemy feared what would happen when you found out what was hidden for you. You see, my child, your life was never meant to be small. Your path was never meant to be quiet. You were called to influence, to break patterns, to heal bloodlines, to carry light where others carried fear. But the problem is, every time you tried to rise, there was resistance. Every time you tried to start again, a delay appeared. But now, as Archangel Michael, I tell you, those delays are breaking apart. The power they once had has been revoked. And what was sealed up, blocked away from your view, is now being uncovered. Not by force, but by divine release. And that's what you're feeling right now. That sudden knowing that something bigger than you is taking place. That's not imagination. That's the moment when the heavens open, and what was above your reach comes gently into your hands. My child, my beloved. I must now tell you what was revealed in the last war of angels. A name was mentioned, your name, and it was attached to a sealed prophecy. For years, that prophecy could not be delivered because the people around you would have interfered with it. They would have tried to alter it, to delay it, or worse, to steal the credit when it manifested. That's why God waited. That's why silence surrounded you for so long. You were not being ignored. You were being protected. And now, the time of silence is over. The seal has been broken. And the words written about you have started to manifest in the natural. You may start noticing strange patterns now, numbers repeating, people reaching out unexpectedly, doors opening that were never supposed to open. That is not coincidence. That is prophecy breaking through. And every sign you receive from now on will trace back to this very moment, this message that you were never supposed to skip, but almost did. And if you had, my child, you would have missed something that will not come again in this same way. This message is a key. And if you walk through it with faith, what's waiting on the other side will not only restore what you lost, it will transform who you become. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. There's a financial shift coming into your life, not because you chased it, but because you've been faithful in drought. God saw how you handled seasons when there wasn't enough. He saw how you still gave, still encouraged others, still kept showing up, even when your own heart was tired. And heaven does not ignore seed sown in secret. There is a release that's been waiting for this level of surrender, and now that you've crossed the threshold of obedience, by staying, by listening, by opening your spirit instead of skipping this moment, the gate has started to open. The first sign will be small, a message, an unexpected favor, a number you keep seeing, or someone offering help out of nowhere. Don't ignore it. It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's confirmation. And if you respond correctly, if you stay in faith instead of fear, the flow will increase. You're not chasing money. You're being positioned for responsibility. And God is giving you overflow, not just to bless you, but so you can carry the weight of others who will one day look to you for guidance. You've asked for blessings. Now heaven says, I will make you a blessing. My child, my beloved. There is a spiritual secret I've been waiting to reveal to you, but it could only be spoken once your heart was ready to receive it without fear. And I believe now is that time. You were born under a divine agreement. Before you took your first breath, there was a conversation in the heavens, and God spoke your name with intention. He didn't just send you into this world hoping you would find your way. No, He placed a light inside of you that darkness could never touch. And although the world tried to bury that light, through pain, through betrayal, through shame, it never went out. That's why you keep surviving what should have broken you. That's why you keep getting back up after every hit. You are not just strong, you are preserved. Preserved because your purpose is wrapped in prophecy. And now, that prophecy is waking up. The enemy fought to stop this moment, because if you ever discovered how close you are to walking in the fulfillment of that heavenly agreement, everything they tried to delay would collapse in seconds. But now you know. Now you feel it. That burning in your chest, that strange sense that something has shifted, that is not imagination. That is heaven placing a divine mark on this very hour in your life. You are not going back to who you were. Not after this message. Not after what's coming next. My child, my beloved. The reason the same battle kept returning wasn't because you were failing, it was because the blessing it was guarding kept growing. Every time the enemy saw your faith increase, they tried again. Every time you chose hope over despair, they sent confusion. But none of it worked. You are still here. Still standing. And I need you to understand this, every single attack you endured added weight to the blessing that's now being delivered. What was small has become great. What was basic has become sacred. You will not receive a minor blessing, you will receive something so large it will require spiritual maturity to carry. And that's why this message had to reach you before it arrived. Because you must be prepared, not just for the gift, but for the responsibility it brings. You are about to be elevated in ways you didn't apply for, weren't expecting, and didn't even think you qualified for. But heaven doesn't choose the qualified. Heaven chooses the faithful. And you have passed more tests than you know. God saw the tears behind the smile. The prayers behind the silence. The obedience even in your confusion. And now, he says, give them what I promised. It's time. My child, my beloved. This is not a normal day. There's something on today's date in the spirit. This specific day was marked for release, and even the angels are on assignment as you read. That's why everything feels different. That's why your spirit feels awake. Because this message didn't just come to inform you, it came to unlock you. There's something you've been waiting for that's already been dispatched. But listen closely, it will only land in your life if you remain in position. What does that mean? It means keeping your heart open. It means not going back to what God already told you to walk away from. It means holding on to this word like it's your breath. Because it is. The next 48 hours hold a moment that was prophesied over your life years ago, and if you dismiss this message as coincidence, you'll miss it again. And child, this moment doesn't come twice. I am warning you in love, heaven is serious about this. God does not send me unless the hour is holy. And right now, you are standing in the middle of a divine hourglass. The sand is shifting. The portal is open. But it will not stay that way forever.